Coming up in this video, we set ourselves up in Queenstown, and while we're there, we travel out and have a look at the spectacular Nelson Falls. On our return from Nelson Falls, we call into the very picturesque Lake Burberry and have a look there. Having already taken a train ride on the West Coast Wilderness Railway whilst we were down in Strahan, we thought this time in Queenstown we'd take the steam loco and have another train ride. After camping one night at the Derwin Bridge, we move on to the Brady Lake Campground, and it's there that we spend 2 lovely nights just sitting back relaxing by the lake. All that and so much more coming up in this episode. I'm Mick, and this is Sally. Together we've been caravanning Australia since the 1980s, and more recently we started to put the videos together just to show you some of what we see out there. There's a lot to see in Australia, and we hope you enjoy what we have here to show you. You can follow us on our trips via the following social media platforms. If you like the following video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. As we left Strahan this morning to make our way across to Queenstown, it wasn't very far distance-wise, but the time that takes to go from A to B in Tasmania, that's what you need to be more concerned about, not the actual kilometres. G'day everyone, and welcome to the start of another video. We left Strahan this morning, and we're currently set up here at Queenstown, and a few things we want to have a look at, so we'll be here for 2 nights, and hope you enjoy what we show you. As with any of our drives that we've done whilst we've been here in Tasmania, none of them are anything but pretty. In fact, most of them are spectacular, and this one coming across from Strahan today as we entered into Queenstown was no different. Prior to us entering into Queenstown today, we had read on social media a few negative comments about the area and that it wasn't worth coming to see, but I'll tell you what, we were quite impressed with what the town had to offer. It was a very pretty town indeed. Like a lot of reviews that are out there to read, it doesn't always convey the actual truth of an area. Once we had the caravan all set up, and with the sun shining like it was, we thought we'd take advantage of the great weather, and we took the drive out to Nelson Falls to go and have a walk in the rainforest there and to view the waterfall. As we now start to make our way towards Nelson Falls, we're heading east away from Queenstown, and the road that we're travelling on now I believe is the one that they refer to as the 99's Bend Road. The first part of the road that we're on now as we leave Queenstown would have to be the steepest, and it would have to include the most bends. We elected to do Nelson Falls while we're in Queenstown, and the main reason for that is for parking once we had the caravan on the back, so of course coming out today without the caravan certainly made it easy for parking. There is plenty of room here to park vehicles, but at times if it is busy it might be a problem finding that big enough spot to be able to pull in with a caravan. As we were making our way towards the falls, it was nice to listen to the running water as it was flowing down the Nelson River. We had a beautiful afternoon, and it was a very picturesque walk as we made our way up to those falls. As we were walking along, we were forever keeping our eyes open for the many, many different varieties of fungi that were growing in the rainforest. With only a short walk required, we were soon at the base of the waterfall. Nelson Falls would have to be the biggest waterfall that we've walked into so far on our Tasmanian trip, and as well as that, the walk that brings you into the falls would have to be one of the prettiest. As we start to make our way back towards the car park, we find our return walk from the waterfall back to the car park as interesting as what we found the walk going into the waterfall to be. It's amazing what you see on your return walk that you didn't see as you were going the opposite direction making your way in. We were soon back to the car park, and we started to make our way back towards Queenstown, and it was there that we did this right hand turn and went into Lake Burberry. Although it's very hard to pick in the camera here, but as we walk down to the boat ramp here, and then when we turn around and look back up, it's certainly a steep incline to pull a boat back up to the top of the boat ramp. With the sun shining today, it certainly made the blue water of the lake a very pretty picture to look at. As we look here, we can see a boat returning to the boat ramp now, and hopefully he's had a successful day's fishing. As we get closer back towards Queenstown, we pull over into the parking area and start to make our way up to have a look at Horsetail Falls. The higher we climb, the better the views are as we look back towards Queenstown. As we make our way up to the falls, Sally and I pass comment about all the infrastructure that's been put in, not only here, but on any of the other walks that we've done in the way of boardwalks and bridges to make the access much easier for the tourists. It's a credit to the national parks here in Tasmania. The logistics to get all this equipment up here to be laid into position is no mean feat on its own. At the time that we were there to have a look at these falls, the walkway wasn't complete. It didn't take you right up to the top of the falls, and it was closed here. And the day that we were there, they were still currently doing work to complete those walkways to take you right to the top. We're now currently looking at where the falls would normally come over, and unfortunately for us, there was very little water there at all, and that must be because of the dry season that we're hearing that Tasmania is currently experiencing. It was time to head back to the vehicle and enjoy the sights as we went down. Straight across from the car park for the Horseshoe Falls was this drive that we're on now, and that was only a short drive, and that took us to the Iron Blow lookout. For those who would like to know the information on this, pause the video here and that will enable you to read the information board. The lookout here has this viewing platform, and it gives you a bird's eye view of where the mining practices were carried out many years ago. The surrounding mountains to this area here certainly are showing the scars of the way mining was done back in those days. With the weather forecast almost being perfect for today, we'd booked a train ride, but when we got out of the caravan first thing in the morning, with this fog, it certainly didn't look that way. Although it was only going to be a short train ride today, we were hoping for good things, as this one was steam, where the one at Strahan was actually diesel locomotive. Our train ride today was with the West Coast Wilderness Railway, and it's the same company that we took that train ride whilst we were down in Strahan. With our train ride due to commence middle of the morning, we were down there bright and early to pick up our train boarding passes. As with our carriages that we took a ride on whilst down in Strahan, we found the carriages here at Queenstown to be in pristine condition as well. Compared to what we see home in South Australia, the steam engine here is only a small one, and as in South Australia are fired with coal, and this fella is fired with oil. With the train and the carriages now in the correct position, it was time for all the passengers to commence boarding. With only a short distance to travel, we were soon at our destination for the day. While the passengers were doing their thing, the train was set up for the return trip back into Queenstown. It's always a wonderful sight to see a steam train at work. While the train was being set up for the return trip back to Queenstown, for those passengers that wished to, they had the opportunity to pan for gold. If panning for gold wasn't your thing, there was always the opportunity to go into the cafeteria and order some scones, jam and cream. The West Coast Wilderness Railway has just gone through, or is still currently going through, a major track maintenance program, and the line here would continue on to Strahan had that maintenance program been completed by now. It wasn't very long and we were soon on the move again, making our way back to Queenstown, and we enjoyed this train trip as much as we did with the one that we did from Strahan. With 75 kilometres to travel for the day, we left Queenstown under ideal travelling conditions and made our way to the Derwin Bridge. G'day everyone, and we've moved again. We left Queenstown this morning and we've made our way through to the Derwin Bridge Hotel, and we're across the road from the hotel, so you can camp in either of the two spots, but both free campsites, so it should be very good. And a beautiful day today, not a cloud in the sky, a bit of breeze and lots of sunshine, so bring it on. When we first started driving over here in Tasmania, some of these winding roads were a lot of what we weren't used to, but as we were spending more and more time over here, we were slowly becoming accustomed to them and quite enjoying the day's drive. When we arrived at the Derwin Bridge camping area, we were quite surprised with the small number of vans that were there at the time. We were very conscious of the long weekend, and it was now the Saturday of that long weekend, and we were a bit worried that we may struggle to get a spot there, but no, that wasn't to be the case, although in saying that, it did fill up by the end of that afternoon. On the afternoon that we arrived at the Derwin Bridge, we went out to the wall. Now this is a 3 metre high and 100 metre long wood carving made out of hewn pine. There's no filming in there, so I couldn't show you anything, but if ever you're coming down this way, it's certainly well worth the effort to go out and have a look at this magnificent wooden sculpture thing that has been done there. On our way out of the Derwin Bridge camping area, we did the normal chores that you need to do when you're out on the road: empty the toilet, fill the water tanks, etc. And as well as that, we picked up another gas bottle for the van. With our chores now completed, we left for the Derwin Bridge campground and made our way down towards Brady Lake. With another short drive, we're starting to love these short drives. we were soon there. Hey, g'day everyone, and we've moved on from Derwin Bridge there last night. Only there for one night, and now we're at a place called Brady Lake Campground, and we're just going to veg out here for a couple of days, so definitely 2 nights here. A little bit overcast conditions, light rain every now and again at the moment, but that's not going to worry us as long as that wind doesn't pick up. And very nice here, so we're going to enjoy our time here doing very little, so do that with us. Catch ya. Speaking to other travellers previously in our trip, we had been told about the Franklin River Nature Trail, and as we were going past it today, we thought we'd break our trip, even though we only had a short trip to do, break that trip and take a walk through the nature trail. The rainforest walk here will take you down to the Franklin River, and unfortunately you don't get a good view of the river, purely because of the way that the forest is so thick and so heavily timbered, but it was still a nice walk. It's only a short walk through the forest before you get to the river, and once you're there, there are small openings within the tree structures that allows you to look at the river. The path that you follow to walk through the rainforest is in good condition, and as well as the paths, they have got some boardwalks with side railing that allow you to walk across some of the creeks. As we walked along in the rainforest, we found these information boards that conveyed relevant information in regard to the area that we're in at the time. As we walked along, we found a lot of fungi here, and they varied in all sorts of colours. With so much to see along on this walk, it's probably a good job it was a circuit walk and not a one way in, one way out. Otherwise we would have been in there for much longer than the time that we had. When we arrived here at Brady Lake Campground, it wasn't really cold, but there was rain on the forecast, so once we were there, we pulled the awning out so at least we had somewhere dry to sit.
Take me to the ruins, aquifers and springs.
For the time that we were camped at Brady Lake, the water level was 4.21 metres down from the normal pool level. With the water level being down so low, it was certainly evident when you look around the boat ramp here where the water line would normally be. Very hard to pick up in the camera because of the distance that it's so far off, but I'll put an arrow in on the screenshot here and overlay it so you can see what I'm talking about. But if you look at the ripples there, we think that must have been platypus out swimming in the water. During our time here, it was a very popular lake for boaties. Not a lot of places in Tasmania that you can fly a drone, and I'm trying to do the right thing and keep mine on the ground when I can't fly it, or when I believe I can't fly it, but from what I can work out, flying it here is okay. And this is on the Monday morning after everyone had gone for the weekend, and it was starting to be a very beautiful day. Come early Monday afternoon of that long weekend though, we were about the only ones that were still here at the lake, but not to be outdone, there were still the boaties out fishing, and come late that night or late that afternoon, the place was nearly full again with other campers that were going to spend time there. With over 3 weeks in Tasmania now, we're yet to see a beautiful sunset, so I'm not sure what they get over here in the way of sunsets, and this was the best we could do at sunrise. With the day shaping up to be not too bad weather-wise, unfortunately, it was time for us to move on. That brings an end to this video, and we've enjoyed our time here at Brady Lake. Quite good today, and a bit of rain this morning, and then of course it's cleared up. We've got overcast sunny conditions now, so not too bad at all. We move on tomorrow morning and we're going to head in towards the Mountfield National Park. Well, that's the plan at this stage, so we'll see how we go. So that'll kick the next video off. So until that one goes up, you take care and look after yourself. If you like the video that you just watched, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of our videos, click on the subscribe button. And once you've done that, change the bell notification to all. That way every time that we do uploads to our YouTube channel, you'll be notified.